Today we will talk about what load balancer is. Now load balancer will be distributing the load among different web servers in the backend, right? So we will talk about how many type of load balancers we are having in AWS. In AWS we are having two type of load balancers. Now initially when AWS started with load balancer, at that time there was only one load balancer, and that was Elastic Load Balancer. Now these days they are having two load balancers. Now Elastic Load Balancer is known as Classic Load Balancer now, and the another load balancer which we are having is Application Load Balancer. Now what is the difference between Classic and Application Load Balancer? Now Application Load Balancer can take routing decisions at OSI layer 7, that means at the application layer. It can do filtering depending on the content, right? And the Classic Load Balancer is just for distributing the load. So today we are talking about Classic Load Balancer. Now for creating Classic Load Balancer, we have to have two web servers in the backend. So first of all, we'll go to instances. We'll create two instances here, or you can say we will be creating two web servers. So let's suppose we are taking Amazon Linux. We are choosing this instance type, and in the advanced section of configure instance details, we'll be typing a small script. Now we took this script, we'll paste this script here. So in this script it is written that welcome to Intelio AWS class 1. So this will be displayed once this web server will be ready. Now add storage. This is the root storage which will be attached to this particular web server. Now tags are very important. So I'm typing here web server 1. I'll go to configure security group. Now we have to add port number 80 here because we are launching a web server on this particular instance. Review and launch. Click on launch. We already have a key. I acknowledge that I have access to this key, and launch instance. So my instance will be ready, or you can say the web server will be ready within few minutes. So in the meanwhile, we'll be launching one more instance so that we will be able to see that the load balancer is equally distributing the load among these two web servers. So this time again we are choosing AMI, Amazon Linux, same free tier instance, configure instance details. We already have a script because we have to launch the same server on the other instance also. But this time we are making a small change, that in place of writing here AWS class 1, we are writing AWS class 2, so that we will be able to see that load balancer is equally distributing the load among these two web servers in the backend. Storage, tags, this time I'm writing here web server 2. Configure security group. We have add port number 80. Without this our web server will not work. We'll click on launch. We already have a key. Launch instance. So you can see here that one of our web servers is ready, and as you can see a public IP has been assigned to this particular web server. So if you want to see that the web server which we have launched on this instance, that is working or not, we'll go there, we'll type our public IP, and as you can see that it is opening that particular page which we have specified on that particular web server. I can see the other web server is also ready, and a public IP has been assigned to this particular web server also. We'll copy this, we'll paste it in the another tab. You can see on one web server we are having AWS class 1, and on the other server we are having AWS class 2. That means we are having two web servers. Now we'll be creating a load balancer. We'll go to the load balancer. So we'll click on create load balancer. We have to create classic load balancer. Click on continue. We'll specify the name of the load balancer. So I'm specifying a name called Intelio ELB, Elastic Load Balancer. So we are not enabling advanced VPC configuration. We'll talk about this in HA, high availability. What I'm doing here is I'm creating a new security group for this load balancer. Configure security group. So it is saying that if you will use HTTPS, that will be really nice. We'll go to configure health check. Now health check is very important for a load balancer. Now here you can see that what load balancer will do is load balancer will keep on monitoring the health of the EC2 instances which are there behind the load balancer. So as you can see here, once it will ping the index page on those EC2 instances which are working as a web server. So once it will ping index.html, the response time is 5 seconds. That means within 5 seconds it will confirm that that load balancer is working perfectly or not. Now interval between those pings will be 10 seconds. We have specified. Now unhealthy threshold. Now unhealthy threshold is that before declaring an instance unhealthy, it will ping it 2 times, or if it wants to declare it healthy, it will ping it 3 times. Now add EC2 instances. So these are the 2 instances which we would like to add into our load balancer. We at least need 2 instances if you want to create a load balancer. Now there are two very important options. First is enable cross zone load balancing. Now what cross zone load balancing is, if you want that your load balancer will equally distribute the requests among different availability zones. So in that case you can enable this. Now the next is enable connection draining. Now what connection draining is, let's suppose your load balancer will declare a instance as unhealthy instance. After this it will take 300 seconds for terminating the connection to that particular instance. Now next is add tags. Adding a tag to our load balancer. It is very important to assign tags to all the resources. So we are specifying here ELB, preview and create. So these are all the things which we have assigned. Click on create. Now load balancer will be ready within few minutes. Now as you can see, load balancer failed to create because one of our instances is not working. Why it is not working, we have to go and see. Although it was working at that particular time, but I think it's not ready now. But it is showing that 2 of our instances are ready. Let's see. Now both the instances are ready, as we can see here clearly. So we'll go to our load balancer. on create load balancer. We are creating classic load balancer. Continue. We'll specify the name of the load balancer. Intalio ELB. Assign security groups. We are creating a new security group. Let's suppose configure health check. We have already discussed about these things. Unhealthy threshold 3. Add EC2 instances. We are adding both the instances here. Add tags. We are assigning a tag which is, let's suppose, ELB. Review and create. So last time I think we have not selected the EC2 instances. That was our mistake. Now the most important thing here is, earlier what we were having is these instances which are running these web servers. These instances have been assigned these public IP addresses, and these are dynamic IP addresses. They can change once you will shut down your instance and you will start your instance. But in the load balancer, a DNS name has been assigned to this load balancer till the time even a single instance will be serving in the backend. Load balancer will keep on working. If you want to add more instances, you can go to more instances, edit instances. You can add more instances into the load balancer if you want. Now how will come to know the load balancer is ready or not? You can see here status. Once 2 out of 2 instances will be in service, then our load balancer will be ready. So as you can see, they are not in service, so it is doing health check and other things in the back end. So you can see 2 out of 2 instances are in service. That means our load balancer is ready. So now what we'll do is we'll copy this DNS name. We'll do Control C. I'm going to another browser. I have the DNS name. As you can see, it is taking you to one of the web servers. Now if I will reload it, it will take you to the second web server. First web server, second server, so it is equally distributing the load. So that's it for today.